Hey everyone, welcome to Gentle Yoga. Today we are going to be doing some twists. Twists are so wonderful for relieving stress, tension in the spine, neck, and shoulders. Sometimes people are a little afraid of twists. If you have some injuries, please, as always, you are incredibly empowered to take care of yourself in any way you need to make modifications, sit the pose out. The key to twists, as with all of yoga, is just really mindfully being aware, going in slow, making sure it's breathable, and your body, your breath will let you know if it's a bad decision to go further. So, with that, we're going to start with the supported back bend. Today, we're going to need a block, a blanket, and a chair. Any kind of blanket, doesn't have to be a yoga blanket, but we're going to fold it and then roll it, turn it into a bolster. And the bolster just has to be long enough so that it supports the back of your head and the back of your heart. So we'll come on down. Feel free to keep your feet on the mat for a little bit to make sure it feels okay for the spine. And then feeling into your breath. Check it out. See, do you need to adjust, maybe lifting up the back of the head a little higher. I like keeping my head a little bit lower and basically in line with my heart. I find that it helps stretch the back of my neck. But go ahead and let the backs of the hands rest on either side of the mat. If it feels good for you, extend the legs long on the mat. Soften the gaze or close the eyes. Let's just take a few deep breaths here. Just notice how your body is feeling in this moment. Check in with your mood. What mood are you in currently? Or is there a flavor of the mood? Maybe a few different emotions present at once. And feeling into your thoughts, noticing, does the mind feel busy? What type of thoughts are you having right now? And then taking a very deep, deep breath in. Hold your breath at the top for a few counts. Open the mouth and let it all out. Placing your hands on your heart. Greet yourself to your practice, your entire self, the thoughts, the emotions, the body. Welcome. Welcome to your practice. Glad you're here. And then releasing the arms alongside the body. Roll to one side. Remove your blanket. Roll back onto your back. Bend the knees. Feet are on the floor. Preparing for some variations of bridge. First, actually, let's just do a little bit of pelvic tilt. So with an exhale, lift the front of your pelvis towards your face. You're keeping the bottom on the mat, just tilting the front of the pelvis towards the face. And then on the inhale, tilt the front of the pelvis away from the face. So the low back will get a little light off the mat or come off the mat. Exhale, tilting your hip points towards your face. And then tilting the hip points away. as you inhale. Let's do that a few more times. As you exhale, you can really flatten the back by pressing the low back to the mat and drawing the tummy in if that feels nice. And the inhale is just easy, relaxing, receiving the breath. Good. Now make sure that your thighs are parallel. Come back through center, feet parallel. And we'll do a variation of bridge, just lifting a little bit off the mat first. So lift your hips just an inch or so off the mat and then lower them. We'll do that on the inhale. Inhale, lift the hips just an inch. Exhale, lower. Keep your gaze on the ceiling. Inhale just an inch. Keep the thighs parallel. Exhale, lower. And then let's come like 1/3 of the way or 2/3 of the way up. So maybe a few more inches. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower back to the mat. So about 2/3 of your capacity to come into bridge right now. Lift. Watch that the knees don't swing apart. We want to keep the inner thighs active, helping the thigh bones stay parallel. Just 2/3 of your capacity to lift the hips right now and lower. Let's do that once more. So maybe it's just a handful of inches you're lifting. Now let's lift to our full capacity without straining, just kind of saying nice and slow, inquiring, how high can I lift my hips? That feels healthy right now. And exhale, lowering. Keep the gaze on the ceiling, lifting to the highest healthy point to lift your hips, and then exhale, lower. Keep those feet on the floor, all four corners of the feet, engaged inner thighs, helping hug the knees and thighs parallel. Few more times like this, just lifting to your full capacity, feeling the strength of the backs of the legs, the strengths of the glutes. Now let's do that one more time. With an inhale, lifting, and an exhale, lowering. Good. Draw the right knee into the chest, grab a hold of something, and then extend your left leg long. Keep holding on to that right leg, maybe the shin, the back of the thigh, and extend your left arm long back behind you. So left arm, left leg, long. Inhale, breathe into the length of the left side of your body. Exhale, hug the right thigh into the chest. Again, inhale, breathe into the length of the left side of the body. Really, almost like you're trying to balance on that left leg, like if you're standing, you're reaching left hand away from the left leg. Good. And then the next exhale, let's switch sides. So draw left knee into chest, extend right leg long. Just take a few moments here, both hands on the left leg, Apanasana. Maybe lengthening your tailbone towards your heels a little bit if the low back's feeling tight. And then on an inhale, extend the right arm back behind you. Imagine you're balancing on that right foot. You're standing on that right foot and then reaching the right hand away from the right foot. On the exhales, you're pulling the left thigh towards the chest. On the inhale, you're reaching. Few more rounds of breath like this, really active in that right leg. Feel the muscles of the right leg hug to the bone. Nice broad chest, broad chest and long right side of the body. One more big breath in. And then exhale, drawing both knees into the chest. Give yourself a hug, rock a little bit side to side. Roll to one side and come on up into Sukhasana or cross-legged position. Feel free to use the blanket if you need, if sitting in Sukhasana causes you to excessively round your spine. We'll start with the right leg in front, and we'll just fold over, releasing the low back, maybe giving a little nice stretch into the right hip, right? So the right shin is in front. Soften your belly, soften your forehead. Take a big breath in through the nose. Open the mouth, let it out, let go of anything you don't need, let it go. And you can stay in stillness here. Some people, it feels nice just to swing the trunk just very slowly, subtly, side to side, inquiring what feels nice. You might want to walk your hands to one side or the other. We're just going to take a breath or so more in this pose. Good, and then come on up. Let's cross the opposite shin in front. On an exhale, fold forward. Inhale, broaden your chest, reach your heart from your navel. And exhale out through the mouth. Soft belly. Let the head go. Soft face, soft jaw. And maybe staying in stillness here, maybe moving the trunk slowly side to side. So make this pose your own. What feels healthy? What feels good? Good. On an inhale, come on up. We're going to stand up and grab our chair. You can move your blanket off to the side. Let's have the seat of the chair facing us. Have at least the two front legs on the mat, just so the chair doesn't go anywhere. Of course, no wheelie rolly chairs, right? Let's come into chair dog. So the hands are going to be on the seat of the chair, and then you'll just walk your feet back. Just seeing, can you walk your feet back so that your heels are underneath your sits bones, and bend your knees. So before we start really entering into twist, I'd like you to work on a lot of spinal extension. We want to have a long spine as we come into those twists. So bending our knees here takes the hamstrings a little bit out of the equation so we can let the heart melt towards the floor a little bit. Keep your ears in line with your shoulders. Feel your breath, gazing at the mat. Just let the eyes soften and still in one point on the mat. And spreading out the weight of your body into all the corners of your feet. So not weighting too much on the heels, not weighting too much on the toes. Exhale completely. Good, inhale. And then from here, we're going to take this into a twist. So I invite you to maybe just even step just an inch or so closer to the chair just for starts. You can step further away as we get into it if you don't need this. But from here, now you're pretty close to the chair. The knees are going to stay bent. And we're going to keep the left hand as it is, but bring the right hand to the center of the mat. And then rotate your chest to the left a little bit and look under the left armpit. You can keep that right hand on the mat, just kind of pressing it into the mat. Keep breathing. Or you could even walk the right fingertips to the outer edge of the mat and kind of pull on the mat to help kind of rotate the chest a little bit to the left. But I'd like you to inquire, what would it be like to keep pressing through your feet, but drawing your right outer waist a little closer towards your left thigh. So like the twist is coming from the right side of the trunk. It's rotating towards the floor. Last breath. Good, and then come on back to your chair. Chair dog, and then we'll do the second side. Keep those knees slightly bent. Left fingertips on the floor, just right underneath the face. Please feel free to stay here. Maybe you walk the left fingertips to the outer edge of the mat. You kind of pull the outer edge as you rotate heart to right,
peeking out from under that right armpit. Keep breathing. Stay with the breath. Stay with the body. And we're rotating the outer left waist. We're trying to reach the outer left waist a little closer towards the right thigh. Kind of initiating the twist from that outer left waist. Last breath. Good, and then come on back through center. Both hands on the chair. One breath here. And slowly walk forward. Coming on up to stand and just take a moment. And then we'll take our chair, let's turn it around so that the back of the chair is facing us now. The back two legs of the chair are on the mat. Come to stand in mountain pose just behind the chair so you can still rest your fingertips on this back of the chair. And just take a moment shifting the weight of the body to the toes and then the heels, to the toes and then the heels. Bring your weight, spread it out between the heels and the toes. Okay, so all four corners of those feet. And draw your tummy and lengthen your tail towards the floor a little bit. Knees are going to be slightly bent. And then I'd like you to imagine that you're on the floor doing cobra. So you're face down, you're doing a little baby cobra. Keep your tummy strong. And you're going to be gently pressing the fingertips into the back of the chair as you hug the elbows in, lifting the chest. Now, if your ears are riding up, if your shoulders are riding up towards your ears, come on out of it. And I'd like you to draw the shoulders up, back, and then soften them. You don't have to press them down, but just soften them. They're up and back. As you lift your heart out of the shoulders. Gazing forward, pressing fingertips in the back of the chair, tummy in. Last breath in this standing cobra pose. Not so much about how far you're going back, but are you breathing? Is your tummy engaged? Is your low back long? Last breath. And then let's step back into chair dog. We'll just keep the hands on the back of the chair for this one. Feel free to straighten the legs more if that feels nice here. You can pedal the feet. Long spine, broad chest. Keep the ears in line with the shoulders and slowly turn your head to the left. So you're looking at your left bicep. Well, I guess your ears aren't in line with the shoulders, right? Right ear's pointing towards the floor. But basically keep your head lifted. Good, and then come back through center, and then head turns to the right, looking at the right bicep. Keep the chest broad, shoulders broad. Last breath. Come back through center, and then come on up to stand. Mountain pose. Come away from the chair. You can just kind of push it off to the side of the mat for a moment. We're not going to need it for a little bit. Mountain pose, bring your palms together in front of your heart. Exhale completely. On an inhale, reach your arms out and up. On an exhale, slightly bend your knees and with an open chest, fold forward. So hinging from the hip creases, folding forward to the floor. Fingertips can touch the mat. There's a block nearby if you need it. Feel free to use it. Fingertips under the block. And on an inhale, walk your hands up to the shins and come halfway up. So nice long spine, broad chest. And then on an exhale, slide the hands back down to wherever they came from. I'll just use a block. I'll show if you want to use a block. And then on an inhale, sweep up, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. We're going to do that half sun salutation twice more. If you tend to get dizzy, hang out either in mountain pose or maybe just a forward fold, whatever feels like a good fit for you. So inhale, reach up. Exhale, swan dive. On an inhale, half forward fold, broad chest. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart.
Last one. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, dive down. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Reach up. And exhale, arms alongside the body. Take a few breaths. Good. Let's move over to our chair once more. Okay, so have a seat on your chair. It doesn't really matter where it is on the mat, just have a seat on it. Let's do a variation of tree pose. You're gonna bring the left foot to the chair. You can let your left heel rest on the front leg of the chair, and then bring your palms together. So it'd be like you're in regular tree pose, right? You'd be standing in this, you'd be going like this. Now, even if you can balance in tree pose, that's totally fine. Standing, you're welcome to do it, but I really like doing this in the chair. It's a really nice way to get an opportunity to explore a deeper stretch for me, I feel like, in the inner thigh and the sides of the waist. So on an inhale, you're gonna reach your arms up overhead, and then on an exhale, you're gonna bring the hands back together in front of your heart. Let's do that. Let's do that 4 more times. Inhale, reach up. Make sure you're really active and strong in the legs. Exhale, coming down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, coming down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, coming down. I think this is our last one. I might be going too fast. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, coming down. Let's do the second side. Step the left foot forward, right foot steps out. Set it up. So your hips and shoulders are square, facing the front of your chair or out through the front of the chair. And activate the legs. So that outer right thigh is strong. It's kind of activating to help keep that right knee swinging open. On an inhale, you'll reach up. And exhale, coming down. 4 more times on your own. Really long in the sides of the waist, reaching up away from the chair. Good, and then release. On an inhale, reach up. And on an exhale, fold over the legs. So both feet are forward now. Feet are parallel. And then just letting your head relax, releasing the spine. Good, slowly roll up. Okay, I'm going to teach 2 variations of this pose. If you have pain in your knees when you're on your knees, please stay in the chair and come back into this goddess pose. If you can have weight on your knees, follow me to the floor. You're going to step your right foot forward and your left knee will be on the mat. And then you're just going to reach up and come into a lunge. Okay, a couple breaths here. You're always welcome to keep your hands on your thighs. So right foot's forward. Those of you in the chair, you're going to pivot to the right and step the left foot forward. And you'll be reaching your right arms, both your arms up overhead. So wherever you are, let's take about 2 more breaths in your posture. And then with an exhale, you'll come back through center and step the left foot forward. So folks on the mat, second side. Folks in the chair, you're just gonna swing the knees, side saddle to the left. Second side, we'll reach up. So here we're looking to see, can we find a nice healthy stretch in the front of the right thigh, the front of the right hip? Where's the breath? About 1 or 2 more breaths here. Good, and then folks on the mat, come back into child's pose. Folks in the chair, come back through center, having a seat. Feel your breath wherever you are. Okay, now we're gonna add a twist. So I'll talk to folks on the mat first. Folks on the mat, you're gonna step your right foot forward, come back into a lunge position, but we're gonna move into lizard pose. So both hands will be to the inside of the right foot. Now, you're welcome to have the back knee directly underneath your hip, or maybe you'd like to have it more in front for a deeper stretch. Great time to use a block if the floor feels kind of far away, but I'd like the front foot to be pointing forward. You're hugging your inner thigh in. And then from here, you're gonna hold on or put your hand on the outside of the right thigh and press the right thigh into the right hand. So you're like creating a wall for that outer right knee to kind of push into. So nothing's gonna happen, but you're firing up the legs. And then from here, you're gonna rotate the chest to the right, moving the outer right waist like towards the ceiling, left shoulder towards the floor. Just a little mild twist with a strong active legs. Those of you in the chair, sit side saddle, come into a lunge, and you're just gonna bring your hands to the back of the chair. We all have our right foot in front. Tummy's in, chest is lifted, a long spine if you're in the chair. Folks who are in the chair, stay there for a breath or two more. Folks who are on the mat, go ahead and switch sides. So step the left foot forward, maybe hands on a block, finding a lizard pose that feels appropriate for you. For this variation of lizard, our toes will be pointing forward, kneecaps in the same direction. And then as you're ready, create that wall for the outer left knee, press outer left knee into the wall, and then rotate heart to the left, okay? Those of you in the chair, go ahead, swing around, side saddle to the left, hold the back of the chair, moving into the twist. So folks who are on the mat, we're really firing up the legs, really strong legs, and that kind of creating that isometric movement or activation in that front leg particularly. So less about the shape of the twist, but more about the sensation that's occurring perhaps in your left hip. About a breath or two more. And then once you feel like you're even on both sides, take your time. We're all gonna meet in cobbler's pose on the floor. So please, please, please take your time. If you need a little bit longer, go for it. I'm just gonna set myself up with a blanket, sitting up a little bit elevated hips on the blanket. And sitting nice and tall in that cobbler's pose. So take your time arriving. So instead of a forward fold cobbler, just a broad chest, broad shoulders. Okay, let's move into staff pose. Help the knees close, extend the legs forward. Reach through the heels. Walk your hands back behind you, bend the elbows a little bit, and puff the chest up. So almost like you're gonna try to slide the backs of your shoulder blades down the back, and like the bottom tip of your shoulder blades, try to kind of like press it into the back of your heart to help broaden the chest a little further. Notice what's going on in the head. So um, be intentional with how you're placing your head, so how can you get a nice long neck on all sides of the neck? Maybe you do a little bit of movement, feel your breath. About one more round of breath here. And then walk the hands forward. We'll do a Janu Shirshasana. Right leg stays stretched out. Sole of left foot comes into the inner thigh. So I am sitting up on a blanket. It's going to help the spine really lengthen and elongate. And that way we get like the best wringing out of the spine and wringing out the stress of the spine. Really nice for the shoulders and the neck. So let's begin with just a twist here. The right hand's going to come back behind you. The back of the left hand is going to come to the outside of the right leg in some place, right? Maybe the outside of the right thigh. On an inhale, feel the length. On the exhale, turn to the right. Good. And then inhale, come on out of it. And exhale back through center. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, folding over front leg. Hands land somewhere, doesn't matter. But what does matter is the chest broad. Are the shoulders broad? Hinging from the hip crease. And I'd like you to keep reaching through that front heel and maybe even trying to press the heel into the floor a little bit. Feel the legs fire up. And bring your awareness to the left waist, outer left waist. And imagine you could kind of reach the outer left waist a little closer towards that right foot. Exhale completely. Inhale, come on back up. Let's do the second side. Extend that left leg, sole of the right foot into the inner left thigh. Sitting nice and tall, lengthening the back of your pelvis towards the floor. Take a twist to the left. Left hand's back behind you. Inhale, elongate the spine. Exhale is the rotation. And if you are finding that your shoulders are up towards your ears, come on out of the twist a little bit. Soften the shoulders and then see what would it be like to move into the twist. Keep the shoulders soft away from the ears. How would that feel? Maybe you don't twist as far. That's okay. It's not bad to have your shoulders up towards your ears and like different poses. It's just, what are you trying to do though? Like for here, I would really like you to have a long neck. So last breath. And then come on out of it. On your next inhale, reach the arms up and exhale, fold forward. With the inhale, stay folded forward. Try to reach your heart a little further from your navel. Keep reaching through the left heel. With the exhale, soften the face. And maybe even pressing that left heel into the floor a little bit, keeping that left leg active while it stretches. Now bringing your awareness to the outer right waist. Reach your right waist towards the left foot a little bit more, even if it's just in your imagination. Exhale completely. With an inhale, come on up and kick out your right leg. Let's take a little staff pose with a back bend briefly. Walk the hands back, bend the knees, puff the chest forward, shoulder blades together and down. Soften the jaw, lean the head back, and turn the head a little to the left, a little to the right, and back through center. Good. Go ahead and bend the knees. We're gonna make our way onto our bellies. Have your blanket nearby and have it kind of, just a couple inches thick, just having it nearby, just in case you wanna use it for this next thing. You may not need it. To begin, let your forehead rest on the mat and bring your arms alongside the body. Imagine you're standing in mountain pose here. The palms will be touching the floor. Walk your feet as far from the top of the mat as you can get so the spine has lots of space. And on an inhale, lift your arms, legs, and head. So locust variation. So it's like you're in mountain pose, but moving into a back bend, a standing back bend. And on an exhale, bring your left cheek to the mat and relax to the floor. Completely relax. Let the back body soften. Take a big belly breath in. And exhale, draw your tummy in once more. Inhale, lift arms and legs back into that locust pose variation, lifting the heads of the shoulders back and up. And then with an exhale, bring the right cheek to the mat, melt into the floor, soften the body, soften the glutes. Good. And then we're going to come into Sphinx pose. This is where you may like to use a blanket. So creep the elbows up underneath the shoulders, forearms parallel. Keep drawing your tummy in, so you want to keep a lot of length in the low back. Some of you may just stay here. If you do have a sensitive low back and you're feeling like that's starting to kind of bug, then you would support your belly with the blanket. Keep pressing the elbows down, lifting the chest away from the shoulders. And so the difference between a twist and a turn is that you are rooted, like one part of you is rooted and the other part of you is rotating, right? So if you weren't rooted, you just turn, right? So if you wanted to think about that in this posture, you're rooting through the arms here, rooting through the front body, the legs are on the floor. And then I'd like you to just simply turn your head to the right. Keep rooting through that left arm. And so your head's turning to the right, but don't let the left shoulder go along for the right. You want to keep moving the left shoulder back and down, just equal with what the right shoulder's doing. Good, come back through center, and we'll do the same thing, second side, head turns to the left. Don't let the right shoulder go along for the right. Feel your breath. Good, and then come on back through center and come into crocodile pose. Stack the palms. Rest your forehead on the backs of the hands. Take the feet wide. Give your hips a little shimmy. Big soft belly breath in. Expand the belly on the inhale. Exhale, soften, relax, let go. Let's take about 3 more breaths like that on our own. Big belly expansion, big low back expansion as you inhale. As you exhale, surrender. Good, and then bend the knees and wag your feet back behind you. So swinging the feet side to side. Let the hips go along for the ride here, and we're just loosening everything up. Good. And then you can either come on up into a wide kneed child's pose or cobbler's pose, right? So if you feel okay being on your knees, take a wide kneed child's pose and just rest down. If that's a no-go, just soles of the feet together. Either sit tall or maybe start to fold forward. What feels healthy for you? What invites in the biggest breath? What invites the deepest release of an exhale? Take about 2 more breaths, whatever pose you've decided to come into. Good, and then we'll move into sage twist. So you can move your blanket off to the side. And to do this, you're gonna sit onto your right hip and you're gonna cradle the top foot in the bottom foot. So you'll notice that my knees are bent. I'm sitting on my right hip. My left foot is in, cradled by the right foot. If this is too deep of a knee bend for you, it's not working for you for whatever reason, just come into a cross-legged position. So draw your tummy in, broaden your chest, lift your heart. And then you're going to bring the back of your left hand to opposite outer knee. Walk the right hand back behind you and rotating, bring your awareness to that outer left waist. Try to keep lifting the heart, right? So we're rooted down into our seat and we're lifting our heart away from these roots and then very gently inquiring, what's it like if I rotate my outer left hip a little closer towards my right knee? Keeping the spine vertical. And then to finish off the pose, we'll turn our head to the left, looking over left shoulder. Broad chest, right? So you could totally do this just in a cross-legged position, totally fine. Good, slowly come on out of it. And we'll do the second side. If you're sitting cross-legged, just recross opposite shin in front. And then cradling that top foot, top ankle. Take a moment and just kind of let your body adjust to this position. There's a nice, maybe a little stretch in the left side waist. Can you get your chest a little bit more broad? What's going on in the face, the tops of the shoulders, keeping some relaxation, some awareness there. And inhale, lengthen the spine vertically. And then exhale, back of the right hand to opposite knee. Left hand walks behind you any amount to help create this rotation. First, you can start setting it up and just focus on a vertical spine by looking over the left shoulder. Feel free. If the shoulders are up towards the ears, come out of it and try to re-enter with a little bit more longer neck. And then as you're ready, you'll turn your head to the right. Soft jaw, soft face. Soften the eyes, just letting them rest on one point. Really just feeling what it is to have this body of yours in this moment. What's it like to be alive right now? Just like this. Good, and then slowly come on out of it. Let's kick the legs out in front of us for a moment. Shake the legs. And we'll do one more round of Janu Shirshasana. So left foot to the inside of the right leg. I'm off the blanket now, but if you need it, please sit on the blanket, right? And we use it to keep a broad chest. On an inhale, reach the arms up. We'll just go right into it. Exhale, fold over the right leg. So you're reaching your hips back. You're reaching your heart forward, and that outer left waist reaching towards the right foot. Maybe going a little deeper in this posture if the body allows for it. Keep a broad chest. Stay here for one big inhale. One complete exhale, evacuate your lungs. And with the inhale, as you're ready, come on up. Let's switch sides. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Take your time coming into the posture as you're ready. Keep that chest broad, reaching through the left heel. And really being aware as you're in this posture, as you breathe in, you're breathing in. As you breathe out, you know you're breathing out. Stay here for one more big breath in. Stay here for a complete exhale. Get all that old air out. Good, and then come on up. Ardha Matsyendrasana. So you're going to either extend your right leg and bring the left foot to the outside of that right leg. This would be if you have a sensitive right knee. If your knee's feeling okay, you can bend that bottom leg, getting the heel towards the bottom. Inhale, get long. Exhale, move into the twist. You're twisting your heart to the left. Grab a hold of that grab a hold of opposite knee with your right hand, right arm rather. And some people like to bring the elbow to the outside of the knee. If that's you, do it. Keep breathing now. Keep reaching your heart away from the floor. Again, we're rooted in the sits bones, rooted in the feet, and then that's what grounds our twist, helping us get a healthy twist. Good. Slowly come on out of it. Second side. Kick the legs out for a moment, and then we'll move into it. So let's see. Left leg would stay straight. right foot to the outside of the left leg. This would be if you've got sensitive knees, this would be the variation. And then if not, heel comes towards bum, grounded in what's in the floor. And from these roots, you rise up and then twist to your right. If we allow our yoga to be about sensation rather than shape, we could continue doing yoga till we're 100, uh, till we can no longer do anything else, right? Um, so moving into postures really curiously, really slowly. When you feel complete on this side, slowly untwist, and we'll come onto our back. Take a moment with the feet on the floor, knees bent, and bring your hands to your belly. Surrender the parts of your body that are touching mat, surrender them to the mat. Back of the head. And as you inhale, expand your tummy into your hands. Exhale, feel it soften away. And then one last time, inhaling into the hands as they come to the belly. So hands to the belly, big breath in. Letting it go. Okay. Lift up your hips, swing them to the right of the mat. So just hop them over a little bit to the right, plop them down, draw the knees into the chest, and then roll onto your left side. And then start to circle your right elbow over your head. So kind of like you're going to draw a circle in the ceiling with that right elbow. Go the other direction. So you're in a fetal position, circling that elbow. So we're just kind of giving the right shoulder a little love here. Good. And then one more time, circling it. Let's circle it actually elbow towards the feet and then towards the direction you're looking. And then back behind you. And then opening up into this twist. Extend the arms straight back behind you. And left hand can rest on the top of the thighs. So right arm just back behind. Of course, if you've got some shoulder stuff, maybe the arm needs to come out, or actually even better would be to support the arm and just like kind of let it rest out. You slide a block behind that right arm. And once again, bring your awareness to the outer left waist. So left waist, and trying to rotate that left waist, reaching it towards the knees. Okay. Very subtle, kind of imagining it could reach towards the knees here. Not much has to happen. It's more of like a cue just to kind of get you into rotating from the waist a little bit more. Good. Go ahead and let's come on out of it very slowly. Place the feet on the mat. Take a rest just in a neutral position here. Hands to the belly, big belly breath in. Open the mouth, exhale. Good. And now we'll go to the other side. So just pick the hips up, swing them to the left, plop them down, and then knees in, roll into a fetal position on your right, and start circling that chicken wing overhead. So big circle, circling, right? Circle, big circle. Go the other direction. Nice and slow. And one more circle, circling it down, forward and back. And then opening up into this just kind of very subtle, easy twist. Left arm back behind you, or maybe supporting that left arm if that left shoulder is the sensitive one. Opposite hand will just hang out on the stacked thighs. We're rotating that bottom waistline towards the knees. Soften the jaw, soften the eyes, maybe close them and surrender. You're welcome to stay here a couple more breaths if you feel like this side needs a little bit longer, but as you're ready, you'll come on out of it nice and slow, feet to the mat. Just take a moment, neutral spine. And then drawing the knees into the chest, swing the knees open, soles of the feet are together. You'll see my feet are off the floor, kind of like a floating cobbler's pose. Grab a hold of your ankles. So reach between the legs, grab the ankles, and then pull the heels towards the groin a little bit. Some of you might be able to interlace the fingers around the outside of the soles of the, around the outsides of the feet. If that's you, go for it. And so here we're just allowing the belly to soften, let the pelvic floor soften. Big belly breath in. Exhale out the mouth, let it out. Very nice. And then release the feet, let the legs go long, Shavasana. We'll just take a few minutes here for Shavasana. And you're always welcome to just sit up and practice meditating too, if that feels like a better fit for you. But just allow yourself these next few minutes for some stillness, for some quiet. If you can stay longer in Shavasana and would like to, please do. If you need to move on with the rest of your day, start to wiggle your fingers and toes. And then with an inhale, take a big morning stretch, get really long. Arms reach overhead. And as you're ready, gently collect your legs into your chest. Give yourself one more hug. A hug of gratitude for taking this time for yourself today. And rolling to one side. And take that time coming on up to a comfortable seat of your choice. And knowing that your practice here today, your self care, not only helps you, but all those you come in contact with. So thank you so much for your practice today. Namaste.